Greetings one and all, and welcome to another episode of TopoRanger. As you can see, I'm down by the road here at Rock State Park, and we are going to do what we planned to do last time we were here, which was basically rock scramble up to the King's Seat and hopefully find some cool stuff along the way. When I was walking back to the car after I finished filming last time, I did spot a nice looking cave about halfway up there. So that's the first thing we're gonna do, is we're gonna try to reach that cave and then maybe take shelter there for a little bit. The stream sounds like it's up a little bit. Cave is right up there somewhere. All right, so let's get started. I did look after I got back from the last trip, and this is quartzite. And it is a little bit swampy up in here. So hopefully that cave will give us some nice relief from the humidity. And there are a couple trails here, supposedly, that go up and down. We don't necessarily need to find the trail. It's about 190 feet up to the top from the road, or maybe from the stream, I'm not sure. Gotta get my sea legs here. And I think everything's kind of like vertically bedded here. It's like a nice climbing wall right there. I do see a little crack cave there. So we are probably 75 feet above Deer Creek right now, I'd say, in terms of elevation. I thought a nice crack that's blowing nice cold air here. So let's get the light out and see what's back there. I tell you one thing that's in there, and that's big spiders, 2 of them right here, perched right over this entrance. So let's go up to this crack right here, and we got more spiders and spider webs. Oh wow, it does go back in there though, you see that? Yeah, you can definitely get back in there, and it's big enough. And it's obviously pulling air from up high, bringing it down low, and the rock's cooling it off. Yeah, that looks like a good one. This is not the one I was seeing from down on the road. That's up above here, I think. But let's make note of this, and when we come back here with other people, more than just one person, we could explore that. Might be another entrance up top of this outcrop right here. In the last video, I was down just around this end right there. Came from there. I think maybe is that it? It was kind of a triangular shape. Let's go check that out. This might be the one I was seeing. I'm not sure. Like I said, I remember it did have a triangular entrance. And it was about this far. There goes a car for scale. And I'm looking up there. We're not even that far below the King's Seat. Let's go in here and check this one out. As I said before, the cliff here, the King's Seat and the Queen's Seat at Rocks State Park is, I think it's mostly quartzite, but there is also some conglomerate. It's called MetaConglomerate, which I'm assuming if meta basalt means metamorphic basalt, then metaconglomerate means metamorphic conglomerate. That's conglomerate, which is a sedimentary rock that was pushed down underground and slowly changed by pressure and heat. So we should run into some of that today. Let's get out the light. There's the view looking out, and it's rather nice with the sound of the stream. Sorry, the creek, Deer Creek, below. Now you can still hear cars going by though, so that's the only downside here. If you're looking to get away from every kind of noise, this probably wouldn't be the place for you, because I think this road is pretty busy. To me, it looks like it's going over there. You see that? I'm seeing light. I think that's where that other crack goes, probably right there. It is just like spider land in here. This side, this is looking directly into the ridge. I tell you what, why don't we go up here and just poke around the other side, because we might find another way to get in. This is the main cliff right here. I think that is the King's Seat perhaps, or maybe it's farther back. But right here is probably where we're going to want to go up. But let's go over here first. Huh. Quite the jumble here. Whoa, hey. There we go. I got something a little bit bigger here. See if we can get in here without getting stuck. There goes my water bottle. Here, let's do this. There we go. So it seems like this cliff here, this outcrop going up to King's Seat, is pretty degraded, you know, like in terms of like, there's a lot of fissures, fractures, a lot of boulders, jumbled boulder caves. More so than I thought it would be, just looking up at it from down on the street last time we were here. If you come here and it's hot, it doesn't take very long to get to a nice cool place, put it that way. Whew. Let's just take a quick gander here. What's going on? Make sure we don't miss anything super obvious. See that right back there? Trying to keep that shadow out of there. Oh, hey, look at that. Definitely a little room back here. And look at this right here. Oh, it's a cricket. You can see there's a bend in the rock and there's some type of probably quartzite vein there. Huh. You see that over there? Oh. Wow, look at that. That's a big chunk of the quartzite right there. It's just being squashed between these boulders. Where does that go right there? You see that right there? This piece right here looks actually like it's a spire, which is just a kind of needle of stone that's kind of separated from the main part of the outcrop. Let's go check that one out there, because that one does have a triangular entrance too. There's a cut in the cliffs here. It starts to go a little bit vertical there. You hear that? That's the road noise. Lots of fissures. So far I haven't really seen any of the MetaConglomerate except for that one piece inside the cave down there. There's the spire. This looks like a major way that people come down off of the King's Seat, judging by the rocks. Let's peek around the corner here. See if we got anything. Whoa, okay. Let's not fall. Yep, that's that big kind of vertical section that we could see down from the bottom. I do see an old anchor in there. So I imagine people rock climb here. I wonder what's over there. Should we go up first or should we go around? If we want to go around, we got to go back down there. Let's go up here and then cut left. I just can't get over how much of these wavy beds they have here in this quartzite. Imagine the pressure it must have taken to turn something like this into something that could bend. Like how much heat and pressure that would take. All right, here's the spire. It looks like we might be able to cross over that little saddle there, and then we should be able to get a good shot of what's down that way. And if we see anything, maybe we could go down that way. Here's that saddle I was talking about. Whoa. You guys seeing this back here? It's thin. Let me get some good footing. So that's that spire, and it's just slumping over there, but it's standing free. Whoa! I think we found the MetaConglomerate here, because that's what this big rock looks like. See these quartz pebbles in here? See the surface here? Yeah, I think that's the MetaConglomerate. Yeah, you see that surface? How it's all knobbly? That must be the conglomerate. That would be the queen seed, I guess. It looks like it's at about the same elevation. The top of this spire here is probably 20 feet above me. We came up right through there, and this does drop down there, but it drops about 40 feet, and then it goes another 40 feet probably down to where we were in the previous episode. So basically this whole thing has just been crumpled and folded, because everywhere you look you're seeing these wavy beds from there the whole way to the very top, which I'm assuming that's the king's seat right there. Probably 80 feet. And that's that big chute. I put my foot here, I should be able to get to there, and then I'll cross and up. All right, scratch that. I'm too exposed there. I don't want to slip, fall here, and then fall off the bigger cliff, which is too bad because it does look fairly easy just to get up there, but I don't want to risk it. Let's go up this way. If we could have gotten up the other side, we probably would have popped out right here. Right through there. This area here looks very well traveled. There's a spire. I see somebody up there, so that must be the main king's seat right there. Let's go over here, see if we can't get a good shot looking back. Too many trees. Let's take a break here and change the battery in the camera. Drink some water. The only thing I know about the history of this place is that supposedly the Susquehannocks used this as a ceremonial spot. Thought being that, you know, the king and then the queen would sit on opposing cliff faces, and they'd have some kind of ceremony, or you know, maybe they get married or something. I don't know. It'd be kind of hard to one person be there and then the other one be way over there. I don't know if that's true. That's probably just something the colonials made up. I get the feeling that they probably made up a lot of stuff, because they came in and I mean they could learn what they could learn from the natives, but there were still huge gaps in their knowledge of the area and the history. So they filled in those gaps with all kinds of tall tales. Or it could be true, I don't know. All I know is I would not want to mess with one of those Susquehannock warriors. They were bad. bad dudes, or bad hombres as they say. They were the most feared tribe, or their warriors were the most feared fighters in this area. They had these wooden war clubs. They just cave your head in with one of those, one blow, just boom, your whole cranium's caved in. So why don't we go ahead and climb to the top and see how the big view is, okay? Right here you want to be careful, because that goes straight down. You guys don't mind if I go out to the end there and film? Cool. I figured I climbed the whole way up here, I might as well go to the end, right? All right, so we're at the end. That's the Queen's seat right there. I think that's the top of the spire that we were looking at. On this side, you can kind of see some cliffs there. This side, however, is a straight drop. I say 80 to 100 feet. And there are quite a few cool little cracks and crevices up here, I have to say. About 4 people here, not too busy. We can get even higher if we climb up here. So let's take a peek at that. Go over top. Yeah, this looks like conglomerate here. Selfie time. There's plenty of room up here too. I mean, it's not just a little ledge that one person can get out on. But there are drop-offs everywhere up here, so caution, 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 right? There's one right here, you see that? This is the downstream side. So I guess we would be looking east, maybe? I'm not sure about that. I'd say the whole thing is probably 100 feet long though. Lots of historical graffiti here too. Engravings. There is some more modern stuff, but it's not so much that it destroys the view or ruins it. A little bit here and there. A lot less than a lot of sites like this. There's a trail right here. This is what the top looks like from about 100 feet back. So if you're standing on the top there at the back end looking out towards the Queen's Seat, to the left is upstream, to the right is downstream. So I took the upstream trail, which is right here. So the King's Seat's over there. I suspect that this trail is going to pop out right at the parking lot where I parked. But along the way there are more outcrops. No outlooks yet, but the outcrop runs right down the side of the ridge there. And the whole area here leading down from the King's Seat, it's all one big trail basically, because it's so well traveled. You don't really need to worry about trails. If you want to come here and do what I just did, you can either go to the top and go down, which is easier, or you can come right up, and it's pretty much everywhere you go has been trampled down, so you don't really need to worry about trails. But there is a nice trail here if you want one, or if you don't want to bushwhack or anything. Look at this quartzite here. A quartzite doesn't weather easily. It's pretty hard and pretty resistant. So for this rock here to look like this, see how it's pitted? For the surface to look like that, it just has to be there for unimaginable amounts of time. There's an episode where I go to a dike not far from where I live. I'll put the link up on the screen right now. And they came through there with a railroad, I think about 150 years ago, a long time ago, and they had to blast through a diabase dike, which is granite, not quartzite, but they're both pretty hard. And the diabase, the sharp edges where the rock fractured, it looked almost exactly as it might have looked the day it was blasted. That's how hard it is to weather that diabase. And the quartzite, I think, is right up there with granite in terms of weathering. And here we have probably the most severe fold we've seen this whole time. Right there. It's almost like the whole thing folds in and on itself. So it's like, there, you see that? Let's try it from here. Ready? It goes like this. Then there's that severe ball of fold, and then it loops back around there. Oh, look, we got some dogs. Hi.
Hello.
Look at these. So this is original weathering. And see that squiggly line? right there. That's part of a fold there too. Portions of the trail do have stone steps here. Let's keep heading down. So if you want a super easy hike, just a little bit of elevation, come down here, Rock State Park, park in the Rapids area, right here. Nice big parking lot, and take that trail right there. And depending on your fitness level, you can be up to the King's Seat 10 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on your fitness level, 5 minutes if you're a runner, a hill runner, right? Oh yeah, look at that. Looking good, huh? Probably still pretty cold though. Although, you know what? June is right around the corner. So maybe I'm wrong about that. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. I hope you guys had a good time. I know I surely did. Pretty cool. Found those caves. Nice overlook. It's easy. You got to be aware of the drop-offs, but other than that, it's not hard at all, and it's a cool way to see it coming up from below, because you don't know what's gonna be up top, you know, if you've never been here before. I did do a little research online about the swimming situation here, and they do have signs that say no swimming, but where the big fish were at the bottom of the rapids start right around this bend here. I did find something that said you could swim here, but it's all at your own risk. There's no lifeguards, obviously. So unless there's people actually fishing there, I think we're probably good to come down here and snorkel around down there, unless there's people fishing there, because then, you know, they're going to be casting and you're going to be like, yeah. This is Brett for TopoRanger, and I'll see everyone in the next episode.